Hello everyone, I call myself Zondagskind and I like to make challenges for Civilization VI. And recently I've gotten the question specifically this week from a viewer what the template is I use to make challenges. But generally, recently I've had the question a couple of times how I make these challenges. So I thought I'd make a short video kind of behind the scenes to let you know how I do that. Then I can refer to that whenever I get the question again. So it didn't take long to prepare this, but until I fundamentally change the way I make challenges, this will still be a good resource. And it kind of consists of 3 parts. One is where I got the inspiration from. Why did I want the challenges to look the way they do? 2 is the layout. Why do they have the look they do? And 3 is the content. Why are the achievements the way they are, and stuff like that. But first, if you don't know these challenges, I've made a challenge for every single leader, linked to every single civ, in Civilization VI prior to the new Leader Pass DLC, which in the current state of the game for console players is the most they can do. So for people who play this on PC, the challenge series is actually outdated now, but if you play on console specifically, then these challenges might still be of interest to you, and you can find them all in the Discord, which I will link to in the description. So if you like Civilization VI, then come be a part of the Discord. It's fun. Now, why do these challenges look the way they do? And basically, I had 2 main sources of inspiration. One was VectorCat challenges. VectorCat used to publish these on a Discord, the Civ VI Challenge League, and he had a subreddit as well. And these challenges are pretty good. So you have them in the screen now. What you can see is all the info you need to play the game is in there. You can already see like there's a gameplay hint, there are achievements. You know which opponents you're up against, and you know all the relevant settings, and you have a game and map seed. And I would say in terms of content, this was a huge inspiration. Like, how do you get all this information on one page? And definitely you can see some inspiration when I toggle back to one of the challenges I've made. This is the one for Bull Moose Teddy. I can't get it to zoom in the way I perfectly want it, but you can see achievements in the lower left, the civ you're playing in the upper left. There's definitely already some inspiration there. But then there was another big source of inspiration, which was a challenge made by the Sharksta 17, specifically for Bull Moose Teddy. And what I very much liked about his challenge is that he used this layout, this red, blue, and white layout, which is fitting for the colors of America in Civilization VI. And he made these little assets, like here you see the asset of Pantanal, the hexagonal picture. And it was a PowerPoint actually, so it had 5 pages if I remember correctly, with different sets of information, and this is the game settings part. And I really liked making the challenge in the style of the appropriate civ. And so basically, to go to the layout, the second part, I kind of synthesized that in my head, and then started making a challenge for Gilgamesh, who was the first in my series because I did them chronologically. But let's go through the layout. Let's go how I make this like technically as well. It's actually pretty simple. I use a program called Inkscape, and it's a free program. At least I downloaded it for free. I can't promise that it will be free forever, but it's free for me, and it's great because one thing I would say if you're thinking about making challenges like these, do not use Paint. Because the problem with Paint is you can like make a text, but then it's like ingrained into the picture itself. here with this, I can just move this. I can edit this. I can give it a different color. I can do all these things. And like with Paint, you can fill in a different color, but then it has these ugly edges. And with Inkscape, it just works. It just works. So let's bring it back to where it was. So what actually is happening here? Because it might look daunting if you're not used to editing graphics, but really it's dead simple. Anyone who knows a bit of graphics is probably going to think like this is child's play. So really all this is a couple of assets. Here we have the logo of America in Civ VI. Here we have the picture of Teddy Roosevelt, the unique units and the unique infrastructure, and the natural wonders and the city-state logos. That's all just, I got them off the Civilization Wikipedia. You just download them or copy and paste, and they're there. Then it's just a bunch of text fields where I do pay attention to where they are. So these have very specific like Y coordinates so that they look nicely lined up. But it's just text fields and a couple of rectangles. That's really all there is to it. So the big thing, which basically I was inspired by mostly by the Sharkstein in this, is I have this asset, and then I make the background color whatever that background color is, right? So if I now take away this background color and just make it black, you can see that this is just the asset, and I just made the background color line up with that. If it will actually work with me here, come on. It will line up with the background color of the logo. And I did that with really every challenge. And usually the text would be the same as the color of the logo, but I can show you by showing you the this was the one for Phoenicia, and there the light blue didn't really gel well with the purple background, so there I just made the text white. And it's the same for the Netherlands one. I don't think I have one where the text is black. If it's not like in the logo, usually white was my backup. You just take a look. Is this legible, right? So that's the big thing there. But then the last thing that might be useful if you're making a challenge is opacity. So that is something you don't really come across. So like if you use Paint, stuff like that. But basically, here you can see I can change the opacity of certain colors. And this was really useful. For example, this one. This is just white. This is the same color as the text. So if I like pull this up, it's just a white rectangle. And what I just did is I brought down the opacity so that it's kind of between the background color and the color of the text. And that's just a very easy way to get these rectangles gel in nicely, but also make these texts stand out. Like you notice these rectangles before you notice a lot of the other text around it, right? So that's nice. And yeah, what was really important for me at least, was to have this look of blue and white for America, and just have that change for every Civ. So if I now browse through the challenges, right, you'll see that every graphic really stands out as their own thing. Like some maybe look a little bit alike because the colors are very similar. Like for example, Japan and Canada have very similar color schemes. But in general, you really see these pop out as distinct from one another. But still, because they're the same shape, they also look like they are part of one series, which they are. So I think that is one big tip I would give if you want to make your own challenge series or something like that, is use the colors of the civs to your advantage there. Have a very clear framework. So you can see there's a title, there are the civs, all those locations are more or less fixed. The only ones that really travel around are these boxes in the middle. with the background information for a Civ, unique unit and infrastructure, and the gameplay tip, which was in every challenge, but where they were exactly swapped around a bit, just to try and fill in these gaps. And sometimes that looked nicer than other times. Like this one, honestly, isn't great aesthetic wise, but it's fine. But that is the big tip I would give. Use the colors of civs to your advantage, and this works for other games as well, right? Because in every game where you have nations, they'll have certain color schemes. You can use that to your advantage to have like a fixed framework, so that it's recognizable as that thing you're making, and through the colors, still be very distinct from one another. Okay, so talked a bit longer than I planned about the layout, but I think you get the gist of it now. Now, why is it the way it is? So, gameplay-wise, for me, it was important to not use gameplay mods, so that people could use these challenges on console, which is great now, especially since people on PC have moved on towards the leader pass. So, everyone can play these challenges. That was important to me. And then a big thing was make the win condition open, so you can win in any condition you want. I personally just don't like being railroaded by a challenge, to be forced to go for a certain win condition. Plus, with some win conditions like religion, you can then like lose the game in turn 60 when you don't get the profit, right? So I wanted the win condition to be open. These are all things which are just my personal taste. Of course, you can really do anything you like, and yeah, don't just copy me, but this is something that I found valuable. I switched around a lot with the game modes. I switched around a lot with the natural wonders and city states, just for variety's sake. This was really meant, this series, as a kind of, if you go through all these challenges, you've really seen it all in Civ. And then I think the most important part with any kind of challenge is the achievements, right? That's what you're trying to hunt there. And this is one tip I would give if you want to have something be trackable, if you want to make people able to send in a save and say, okay, I did it in so many turns. All the challenge achievements for all the challenges are checkable at the end game. So, for example, complete the world's first circumnavigation. That's something you can check because there's a historic moment when you complete the world's first circumnavigation. So you can take a save even after you've done that, even after you've won, and check back in your historic moments whether you did that. Same with finish the game with net positive amenities. You could, for example, not check if you have ever had a moment where you had positive amenities. That's not something you can check back. So that's why all these achievements, in this case, finish with 10 population in the capital, finish with 5 diplomatic victory points, at least 1 industrial zone, or 5 plus preserves. It's all like finish with. So that's why in my challenge series, you'll see a lot of achievements with finish with, just because I didn't want people to play a challenge and, like, for example, have this be 144 turns, and then them concluding at the end of it, oh, but I can't see if I actually got this or that achievement. Then 4 of them are historical, and really, I'm not a historian. I just went through some cursory Wikipedia research to find 4 things which fit the leader or the Civ. So, for example, the Square Deal was a domestic economic plan of Teddy Roosevelt. Great White Fleet he reformed the Navy, if I remember correctly. Pure Food and Drug Act, well, it's here. It's a law to do with higher standard for food and medicine. The Bull Moose Party, the party that he founded in his re-election bid. And then the 5th one was always a kind of meme or referential achievement. In this case, it refers to the great streamer, The Game Mechanic, and the fact that he does not like industrial zones and he does like preserves a bit. And that was the same for every challenge. If I go back again to the series, like here is fuck Philip because I don't like Philip the second. Tous les mêmes y en a marre is a reference to a Stromae lyric. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir is for a different lyric. Say goodbye to your walls, idiot is a reference to Bostius, a very good streamer. And so that was the gist of why there were 4 historically motivated achievements and 1 kind of as a joke. And as for like what came first, the thought of, okay, the reference needs to be to this, like what came first, the Pure Food and Drug Act or the idea finish with 10 plus population in the capital? I would say specifically now for Teddy, the idea for the historical references came first, and then the idea of what to do it with. But that changed from Civ to Civ. Sometimes I had a specific idea, okay, I want you to get the unique unit before a certain turn, or I want you to get a certain amount of trade routes. Usually it did play into like a Civ's specific abilities. For example, with America, the fact that preserves play into their strengths led me to thinking, okay, I want to do something with, you want to get a bunch of preserves, and then the idea came for, okay, I can use that for a TGM reference. So that really changed from Civ to Civ, and sometimes from achievement to achievement. And then the other big thing is I tested every challenge first off stream, and then when I started streaming on twitch.tv/Zondagskind, which you should totally come and visit sometime, on stream. And if I just didn't make a achievement that I had written down initially, because basically what I would do is make these challenges, and then of course not having tested it yet, I would say this is I don't know yet, and this is I don't know yet, and then I would go and test the actual game. So sometimes I just wouldn't get the achievements I wanted, and I believe with America that also happened, but I'm not sure anymore. But anyway, then I would just change the achievements. So for every challenge, to kind of circle back to, you should try them, for every challenge, I guarantee you that I have done the things that are in here, the achievements, in the time it says here with a win condition here, but it's up to you to decide what win condition you want to do, and if and how you want to do these 5 achievements. So that's the basics of how I make these challenges, and of course a little bit of a plug, you should try them out because they're fun. And in any case, I will be making more challenges now with the new leader pass, and I will be making them a little bit differently, but this is the basis of how to make challenges, challenge graphics, just generally. So if you like knowing this, then do leave a like. If you have different tips for how to make challenges like these, then please do leave a comment, because this is all about just learning together, right? And in any case, you can subscribe to see me play challenges like these and try them out. And I will see you in a next video. Bye bye.